After a long, deafening silence, the news hit. Ronnie Doe was gone. Once a man who declared his love for Chrisean Rock, he later turned on them, publicly questioning the paternity of her child and dragging her name through the mud online. In the days following his death, Chrisean Rock remained completely silent. No social media, no interviews, no response. But today, that silence broke. Chrissy finally spoke, not with rehearsed words, but with visible pain and unshakable honesty. Her voice was trembling, her eyes filled with tears, yet her message was piercingly clear. She didn't just acknowledge Ronnie's passing, she faced the swirling DNA rumors and addressed the betrayal that had haunted her publicly. The statement landed like a thunderclap, shaking fans, critics, and even her family. It wasn't just grief. It was a long overdue confrontation with the truth. Chrissy didn't just speak. She stirred the waters with a chilling revelation. Ronnie took a secret to the grave. But what was it? Why, in his final months, did he lash out so violently, with claims that baby Junior might not be his? And now, whispers from those close to Chrissy suggest something even more unsettling. She's scared, genuinely afraid. This isn't just the aftermath of a messy relationship or the fallout of a public feud. It feels darker, heavier, like the fuse on something far more explosive has just been lit. Ronnie's death isn't the end of this story. It may be the beginning of a truth so volatile it could unravel everything. To grasp the gravity of what's unfolding, you have to feel the ripple effect his death has sent crashing through every corner of Chrissy's world. When Chrisean Rock finally broke her silence, it wasn't just another celebrity statement. It was the unraveling of a painful history. To truly understand the weight of her words, we have to rewind. Ronnie Doe wasn't just an ex. For a fleeting moment, he was someone who held her heart, and later nearly shattered her from within. Behind, the name was Karen McKayan, not a rapper, not an athlete, not a music exec. He wasn't chasing clout or fame. He moved in the shadows, calling himself a real one, keeping a low profile, until everything changed. The moment Chrisean walked away from Blueface, Ronnie emerged from the quiet. No press releases, no big interviews, just cryptic social posts, suggestive snapshots, and then an explosive Instagram live that sent the internet into a frenzy. From that moment on, the narrative spiraled, and it hasn't stopped since. During that now infamous livestream, Ronnie dropped what he claimed was undeniable proof. A voice note, a screenshot, and a single jaw-dropping quote that sent social media into a frenzy. "Blue ain't the dad," he alleged, she said, followed by a chilling declaration, "When the time comes, I'm taking the kid." The internet exploded. Some took him seriously, convinced he was revealing a hidden truth. Others accused him of chasing clout, trying to hijack attention in the most destructive way. But Ronnie wasn't finished, not even close. He unleashed a storm of cryptic tweets, vague threats, and heavy-handed hints. He called the situation a ticking time bomb, teased supposed video evidence that he claimed could end Chrisean's career, and kept the tension high. Then came his boldest and most controversial move. Ronnie arranged a private paternity test behind Chrisean's back, publicly vowing that if the child turned out to be his, he'd fight for full custody. "I'm not letting my son grow up like that." Those were Ronnie's final, defiant words before Chrisean Rock snapped. That very night, she went live, not in tears, but on fire. Her voice was steady, but her fury was unmistakable. "Y'all really believe every man who gets near me?" she shot back. "Yeah, I loved him once. That's true. But don't you dare come for my child. That baby's got one father, and it's not Ronnie." Her words cut through the noise like a blade, and just like that, the internet split. Lines were drawn, opinions flew, and the war of truth versus spectacle hit a fever pitch. The internet lit up with hashtags: Team Chrisean, Ronnie X exposed, DNA or drama, as fans and skeptics alike demanded answers. But despite the noise, one crucial detail remained locked away: the DNA results. Chrisean never shared them. Not when the pressure mounted, not when critics accused her of hiding something. She chose silence, until everything took a chilling turn. On February 3rd, 2025, that silence was shattered in the worst way. Ronnie Doe was found dead in Severn, Maryland, shot and left outside a quiet residential complex. In a flash, speculation turned to shock, and the questions everyone thought they were asking suddenly shifted into something much darker. Police labeled it a targeted attack, no suspects, no arrests, and, officially, no link to Chrisean Rock. But the internet had already made up its mind. Within hours, she was cast as the villain. Old live streams resurfaced, arguments replayed frame by frame, and conspiracy theories exploded across comment sections. She had him silenced, some wrote. That's why she never showed the test. Something's off. As the accusations piled up, Chrisean said nothing. Not a post, not a word. Until now. Today, she finally broke her silence with a stark, black and white video. No glam, no background track. Just her, stripped down and honest. Her voice was cracked, yet steady. I didn't want to speak while I was still in pain, she said. I didn't need people picking apart my grief. I won't pretend Ronnie didn't hurt me because he did. It wasn't a press statement, it was a reckoning. Police were quick to label Ronnie Doe's death a targeted attack. No suspects, no arrests, and no official tie to Chrisean Rock. But online, that didn't matter. The narrative had already taken a dark turn. Within hours, old live streams resurfaced, arguments were dissected, and theories spiraled. She got him silenced, some claimed. That's why the DNA test never came out. Accusations flew, but Chrisean stayed quiet until the silence cracked wide open. In a stark black and white video, raw and unedited, she finally spoke. No filters, no music, just a trembling voice, steady hands, and eyes holding more than grief. I didn't speak before because I was hurting, she confessed, and I wasn't going to let the world dissect that. She admitted Ronnie had hurt her deeply, but said she never wanted this. He questioned something he had no right to, and now he'll never even hear the truth. Then came the moment fans had been anxiously waiting for, a revelation that had been shrouded in silence for nearly a year. With steady hands, she held up a plain folder. Nothing flashy, just the weight of truth enclosed within. Looking directly into the camera, her eyes unwavering despite the gravity of what she was about to disclose, she spoke clearly. I did the test. A real one, from real labs. Blueface is the father. Ronnie never was. The room seemed to still, as those words hung in the air, each syllable carrying the finality of years of speculation, pain, and endless questions. The lies are dead, and so is the pain, she said softly, allowing that profound truth to settle not only within herself, but with every listener who had longed for closure. But this was no simple conclusion. It wasn't a neat ending to a troubled story. Rather, it marked the opening of a far more complex chapter. The tone in her voice shifted. The earlier calm gave way to something harder, resolute, and raw. There's more y'all don't know, she declared, her voice now carrying the weight of unspoken burdens. Suddenly, the quiet walls she had built around her grief and silence began to crumble. She spoke of messages, dark, threatening, coercive. Things Ronnie had tried to force her into, demands that had shadowed her in the background but never before been voiced publicly. I'm done protecting people, she said, a quiet but powerful declaration that the era of silence and shielding others was over. This sudden unveiling stunned fans and followers alike, not merely because of what she revealed, but also because of what lingered just beneath the surface, left unsaid but heavily implied. There was a flicker of fear, a subtle tremor in her, eyes and voice that spoke volumes about the danger that had surrounded her, the unseen threats that lurked behind the public drama. Ronnie's death, initially perceived by many as a tragic end to a turbulent relationship, suddenly took on new, darker dimensions. It was no longer just a heartbreak or scandal, but the final, devastating move in a dangerous and calculated game. A game Ronnie had been entangled in long before the spotlight turned on him. Her confession hinted at layers of manipulation and control that went far beyond the public's understanding. It suggested that the battles waged between them were about more than just personal grievances. They were about power, control, and secrets someone desperately wanted to keep hidden. The threats, the coercion, the hidden messages, these were not mere footnotes, but essential pieces of a larger puzzle that had been pieced together behind closed doors. For her, speaking out was both an act of courage and a step toward reclaiming control in a situation that had long felt out of her hands. This revelation ignited a firestorm of speculation and sympathy. Fans and observers grappled with the new perspective she offered, the idea that Ronnie's death was more than a tragic outcome, that it might have been the culmination of a complex and dangerous conflict that extended beyond their personal lives. The floodgates had opened, and with them came not just answers, but more questions, mysteries, and the undeniable sense that the story was far from over. In the weeks before his death, Ronnie had been working the shadows. Multiple blogs received anonymous emails signed only RDD, containing blurred ultrasound images, supposed text arguments, and a mysterious voice note he claimed would end her. That voice note never surfaced. But insiders now say Ronnie was trying to sell it, shopping it around for a price before his time in the spotlight ran out. As his version of the story began to unravel, he went nuclear. Fake insiders now claim Ronnie was building a digital arsenal, screenshots, DMs, audio files, meant to damage Chrisean's credibility, not just on social media, but in court. One blogger even shared a DM allegedly from Ronnie that read, "When it drops, she'll have to disappear." Then came the first leak, a distorted audio clip, clearly Ronnie's voice chilling in its content. "She told me the baby wasn't mine, then begged me to lie for her. I said no. That's when the threats started. Y'all think she's broken? Nah, she's dangerous. If anything happens to me, don't forget this tape." The internet erupted. Was it a genuine warning or a calculated setup? Why record something like that unless you were laying groundwork for a bigger play? The second leak only deepened the mystery. A screenshot of a $2,500 PayPal transaction between Ronnie and an anonymous account captioned "Payment, baby-proof file transfer." The date? Just a week before his death. Now the question shifted. Was Ronnie blackmailing Chrisean, selling false information, or was he being used as a pawn by someone else with darker intentions? And then Chrisean's own sister went live, throwing gasoline on an already burning fire. "Y'all don't know what she did to that man," she said. Ronnie was trying to protect himself. He wasn't perfect, but he wasn't lying either. If you knew what she said to him before he died, you'd be quiet too. The fracture within Chrisean's family was now public and raw, but she still didn't respond. She didn't need to, because another leak was coming. A private investigator, allegedly hired by Ronnie for his custody case, posted a thread online. At the center, a PDF titled "Summary of Digital Communications, Rock versus Do Custody Claim." It painted a damning picture. No paternity proof from Ronnie, repeated messages demanding hush money, threats to expose her if she didn't comply. One message read, "You made me look like a fool. You owe me. If I can't be the dad, I'll still be the headline." Suddenly, everything looked different. The silence, it wasn't guilt. It was survival. And just when it seemed it couldn't go any deeper, the final piece dropped. A voicemail Ronnie left on Chrisean's phone less than 24 hours before his death. His voice, tired and cracked. "I messed up. I know I went too far. You don't have to forgive me. I just don't want to be the villain forever. Tell the baby I'm sorry." No one knows who heard it first, but Chrisean kept it. And when she posted it, just a black screen, no caption, the internet broke. What began as a messy ex-drama had twisted into something far more chilling: manipulation, betrayal, and a haunting final goodbye. The storm may have passed, but the aftershock? It's only just beginning. Authorities were quick to declare Ronnie Doe's death a targeted hit. No suspects, no arrests, and nothing officially linking Chrisean Rock to the crime. But the internet wasn't waiting for proof. Within hours, the court of public opinion had its verdict. Old live streams were clipped and shared. Past arguments were pulled apart. Conspiracies spread like wildfire. She silenced him, some claimed. That's why the DNA results never came out. As the speculation mounted, Chrisean said nothing. Days passed, then weeks, and then everything changed. Without warning, she reappeared. Not on a glammed-up live stream, but in a stark, silent black and white video. There was no music, no editing. Just her, stripped bare of artifice. Her voice was raw, her hands steady, her eyes heavy with something more than grief. "I stayed quiet because I was in pain," she began, "and I wasn't about to let the world dissect that." She acknowledged the hurt Ronnie caused, made no excuses for it, but said she never wished this ending for him. He doubted something he never had a right to question, and now he'll never hear the truth. Then came the moment everyone had waited nearly a year for. Holding up a folder, she spoke with quiet conviction. The DNA test was done. Real labs, real paperwork. Blueface is the father. Ronnie never was. She paused, letting the words sink in. The lies? They're dead, and so is the pain. But the video wasn't over. Not even close. Her voice darkened. "There's more y'all don't know," she said. There were threats, coercion, things she claimed Ronnie tried to make her do. "I'm done protecting people," she declared. And with that, the floodgates opened. Not just for Chrisean, but for the world watching. Because what shook fans wasn't just what she said, it was what she didn't. Behind her composure flickered something else. Fear. Ronnie's death, it turned out, wasn't just the tragic finale of a toxic romance. It was the last act in a twisted game he had been playing, long before the public caught on. Then, late one night before court, Chrisean made her move. A brief 10-second teaser dropped, a black screen, faint baby cries in the background, and her voice declaring, "I kept the files, all of them. Now ask yourself, who's scared?" A countdown appeared, 7 days. Fans speculated, was she prepping a documentary or gearing up for a wrongful death countersuit her legal team was reportedly drafting? What was clear? Chrisean was no longer running, no longer breaking, no longer apologizing. She was exposing. And when she faced the court next, she wouldn't be the one on trial. As pressure mounted, the court of public opinion had already convicted and acquitted her countless times over. But the real bombshell came just one day before her court date, and uncut anonymous dashcam video surfaced, changing everything. The footage, just shy of 2 minutes, showed Ronnie in the driver's seat and Carissa, the mother of Lace, beside him. Fans instantly recognized Carissa's voice, and what she said was devastating. "She doesn't deserve that baby. She can't even control herself." Ronnie responded quietly, uneasy. "So what you want me to do? You said you're not the father, right? Then play the role. Be a man. Get custody. We'll handle the rest." Then came the chilling part. Carissa whispered, "If we get her declared unfit in court, she loses everything. That's when we strike. Strike." The video cut off. The internet erupted. The legal team filed a new motion overnight. Hashtags. Flipped. Manch Carissa taub. Manch free Chrisean. Manch justice. For Ronnie surged. Just as people processed this shift, Chrisean posted a raw voice memo to her Instagram story. "You have no idea how long I stayed silent. How long I let lies spread, recordings twist my truth. But now, you're about to see what I've been holding on to." The screen faded to black, with one word in bold white letters: deposition. It was the moment everyone realized. Chrisean Rock wasn't just showing up to court. She was coming to name names, drop files, reveal recordings, and testify under oath. And here's the twist. Insiders whisper that the deposition contains secret phone calls, screenshots of Carissa coaching Ronnie, and a signed NDA between Ronnie and someone close to Blueface agreeing to push a false paternity story. That NDA could unravel the entire cover-up. If true, Chrisean might regain full custody of baby Junior. Carissa could face serious legal consequences, and Blueface might be implicated in a federal obstruction investigation. But the final piece, one unreleased clip allegedly in Chrisean's vault, shows Ronnie in tears confessing, "I didn't want to do this. I thought if I went along, I'd still be in his life." That changes everything. This wasn't just drama, betrayal, or tragedy. It was a setup, and in less than 24 hours, Chrisean will walk into that courtroom, not as a broken woman, but as a force ready to dismantle the whole machine. Get ready, because tomorrow, the truth takes the stand. This tangled, heartbreaking saga of manipulation, power, and survival is far from over. When Chrisean steps into court, she's not just fighting for her child. She's determined to expose the lies, unmask the puppeteers, and tell the story no one wanted told. So what's really lurking behind the scenes between Carissa and Ronnie? Was Blueface merely a bystander, or a key player in something darker? And if the deposition drops, who else could fall? We want to hear your take. Drop your thoughts below. Has Chrisean been set up from the start? Was Ronnie manipulated? And is Carissa the mastermind pulling the strings?